Emma's Universe podcast.
Where do we go from here? Where do we go from here?
Emma's Universe podcast.
Where do we go from here? Where do we go from here?
Emma's Universe podcast.
Hello and welcome to Emma's podcast. In today's podcast, we're going to be talking about, I have no idea, but we're going to go for it. How about that? I was just listening the intro music. I love the song Where Do We Go From Here? So inspiring. I don't know. Thanks to my beautiful friend, Jenner, Zeno, and Studio Stargazers. His creativity is absolutely fantastic, and one of the person that I know is so gifted. He does so many things. It's unbelievable. So have a chance to go to Studio Stargazers and listen what he does for the theaters, but also for any other podcasts. I know there is a family there, quote unquote. We have other people at Studio Stargazers who are podcasters as well, but it's just unbelievable. So I'm just enjoying, except one of my dogs is barking because there's a squirrely dude who's irritating everybody. So I have a feeling that squirrel is back again, poking its head, just staring at Daddy, and Daddy is not liking it. This is what happened here in the world of Emma's Universe. Even Lulu's looking at like, okay, the lady is going crazy again. Yeah, it's all right. We can manage. We can do it. We can make it up. So I shared a story of the groupie two podcasts ago. 2 episodes ago. And podcast episode, not 2 podcasts, but 2 episodes ago, relating to dealing with people who would feel that when, if they did not even build a shrine in their house, have an infatuation of some kind about one person. It can be a boss, it can be a manager, it can be a VP, it can be anyone actually, where they will run circle around them and want their time, their attentions. And when you're working, it makes it harder, especially if you're reporting to that person or you're working with that person, to deal with individuals like that. It makes it even more dangerous. I was speaking with Dr. Mike, who's a psychologist, actually, about that, and the story I shared with him, giving him more details than you will ever have in that podcast when I did this episode. But it's just understanding how much of a threat those people are. We're looking at what's going in the news as well, when people go crazy and what they call it now, unlived others, or create harms to others because they have an infatuation, or their insecurity is so big, then they feel like you become a threat, which is ridiculous. Because if you are, yes, I'm back. I just had to stop for a minute, get back Daddy inside, because again, she's barking and there is no squirrely do popping their head yet. So I had to brought her in and keep her inside so she doesn't go cuckoo for Cocoa Puff, because she can hear. She's very good at hearing, actually, smell, hearing. She's a good hunter, but Squirrely Poo is starting to be a pain on the rear doo-doo. So back to the groupies, where you're faced with individuals who are going to play the victim. And I know it happened to several people, because people are going to be listening to it and say, oh yeah, that just happened to me. When they play the victim, when they are poor me, when in fact they are not. The worst part is when the people who love to have fans and groupie around don't understand the danger that it causes and the harms that it can cause to work, because those individuals will disrupt somebody else's job. And it's very stressful to deal with individuals like that. It's very stressful to just say, okay, we want to keep the peace, because I don't understand why you are acting this way, until you see the bigger picture and realize that person is a groupie and running around circle around that specific person. This is where you realize it's like, holy crap, where did I put my feet into it? So I was talking with Dr. Mike about situation like that. And when you deal with people out of control that will text you at any hours of the night, doesn't even care if, respect your own space, will disrespect you because they feel so insecure, then they're going to do everything to make you look bad and can disrupt your work. I remember something many years ago, actually, when I was working for, I was a contractor at that time before I became a permanent, and then I was out of over there 8 years later. But I was working with a group. It was a fresh new group. They were expanding the business. Everybody were peacekeeping. It was a good group, actually, to start with. However, the secretary, the assistant, had insecurity. Didn't realize right away, actually. And I was supposed to take over one thing and help her. Actually, it wasn't even taking over. It was helping her because she was so busy with everything. She needed help. And I'm like, okay, I volunteer. I said, sure, no problem. I can help with this. Well, this individual did even better than that. Instead of explaining to me everything that I was supposed to do, she gave me half of it. So when I turned the project to the person that I was supposed to, then I looked like an idiot, literally, because that person thought I was an idiot because I didn't do the job. And I realized very quickly when that happened that she withheld information from me in order for me to look bad, which was ridiculous because, again, when you do these kind of things and you go against somebody who wants to help, they don't want you to do your darn job. Nobody wants your job. Or somebody will openly say, I want your job. But most people is like, no, I'm here to support you if you need help because you're complaining you got too much in your plate. So if you got too much in your plate, share what you got, share your load so somebody can help you. They are not here to take credit of your work. They're here to support you on your journey. But when you withhold information, then you think, well, it's going to make the person look bad. You're actually compromising somebody else's work and playing against the company. So if you got to do a presentation, like it was kind of a presentation on this one, it was a report, and you're supposed to pass it on to that person, it's not ready, then that is not good. So I got a little frustrated at that point. I didn't say a word. I bite my tongue and say, fine, I'm not going to help her at all. I'm like, if you're that insecure, and even if you reassure them, you're okay, but they give you half of the explanation, then you're like, you know what, I'm good with that. I did, however, I was reporting to somebody else, so I did mention to them. I said, well, I only got half of the information, so it doesn't help, but I don't want to help her because if she feels insecure and doesn't give me the full information, I cannot do the job. I refuse to do it because at the end of the day, I'm representing a company, and it's not to be humiliated, neither for myself or for the company I'm representing when I'm working there. Then I want to have a reputation that is not true or an assumption that I'm incapable to do my job. Now, when we're dealing with groupies, those are dangerous people because they will calculate. They will play the victim, they will harass you, and when you put your boundaries, then they turn and flip around the switch from the aggressor to I'm the victim. And they're going to do everything they can to be on your path, making sure that the person or the attention of the person they want and is around you, they will come and do things specifically to trigger you, so they are the victim. So you have to be cautious as well. And when I was speaking with Dr. Mike, I said, at the end of the day, those are the most dangerous people I ever met, because those people will go through extra lengths, not only to harass you, to disrespect you, to mess up with your work, but also will flip a switch and put themselves as a victim. Because they want to have the poor me, I'm such a nice person. No, you're not. You're just a calculated person. You're a narcissist person. You're somebody who has a pretty bad attitude. You don't like the boundaries, but you like to be superior to others because of your insecurity. It causes more harms than good. So when you understand this and you know how to play the game, then you try to avoid situation like that. However, because you're in corporate world, because you're working somewhere with other people, unfortunately, unless you're the boss, unless you own the company, then you're at the mercy of what's going on. And trying to stay out of trouble has always been something I like to do, but it happened and days were kind of difficult to not be out of trouble at some level, which was quite irritating at some point. But think about it. Think about who have you encountered in your working life or are facing right now. They are just groupies. And as I said, unless you witness how they run around like around a circle around those people, you don't understand until you really see who they are and why are they acting this way. You put the pieces together, that's pretty creepy and scary. And I've seen it lately on one of instances where I'm at, where it's like, holy crap, what is wrong with that person? The insecurity coming back and doing things that is like, holy crap. So the best things to do is to block them. Not there, you block them on your social media, you block them on your phone. Doesn't matter if you work directly with them or not. I'm blocking people now. I'm like, I'm clearing up my field here. I don't need that energy around me. I don't need those people around me. So I'm clearing it up. I am not inviting that monkey and circus into my field. Enough is enough. But sometimes it's difficult when you're working in close environment and you're dealing with those individuals and you always have to be on eggshell. You're walking on eggshell at all time. You're trying to be, I will say, the peacemaker, try to be understanding until a point where he's like, you know what, that's enough. And when you push them back, this is where you're going to see them attacking even more because they feel hurt and pain and because they cannot get away with their crap anymore. So I was thinking about it, and when I talked to Dr. Mike, we talked about it, and he was even letting me know. I said, well, I said, yes, I did a very nice way because I have a side of me you do not want to wake up because I will shred you to pieces. But I'm using more the mindful side of me, the peaceful side of me, but I set my boundaries. So those people will never understand. You need to understand that when somebody is infatuated, wants the attention of somebody else's, they are not gonna understand anything except they're gonna feel threatened because of the relationship, if it's a working relationship with somebody, and they want that attention. And as much as you do not want to appear a threat, because you're not a threat, but they feel threatened because you're spending much time with those individuals. That could be your boss, that could be your coworkers, that could be somebody around you that you need some advice or whatever the deal is. Then those people will feel threatened because they see you as a threat, even if you're not, which is even weirder than ever. But as I said, I never encountered that much of groupies, and I've done it lately, and it's like, holy crap, I need a cocktail, people, because holy moly. Again, it's not my monkey, it's not my circus, but removing myself from the equation and ensuring that I am fine. I have no issue with anything or anyone, but just peace out, people. That's what it matters the most to me. So that was my point for this one. But I just wanted to touch base a little bit on that because I feel that if you're looking at people's behaviors and you're observing people, this is how you realize what's going on. And sometimes you don't have the full pictures, but when that picture hits you, holy crap, you're like, oh boy, I think I need to have a cocktail right here, right now, because this is not possible, even to the point to makes you uncomfortable and sick on how people are. You have people who will do miles and miles to just help somebody else's just for nothing. And it's like, really? This is what you got to do? Okay. And you understand how dedicated or how much invested in the life of that person or the other person they are, which is freaky, actually. Very, very freaky when you realize this, because there is some few things it's like, really, well, we're missing an ingredient, and no, you're not going to go, but you're going to be texting that person who's going to be driving miles and miles to deliver one item, which is ridiculous. And it's like, really? Well, yeah, I will never do that. If you ask me, oh, I don't have salt and you live 30 miles from me one way, I'm not going to deliver the salt from you. Absolutely not. Some people do. That's what groupies are for. But this is very freaky and scary to the point that that could be at some level and has come dangerous for others. So this is where when you realize who you're dealing with, then you disengage as much as you can and stay away and make sure your boundaries are set, because you never know what those people are going to do. And as I said, when they play the victim, oh my God, they can play the victim. They can come and give you a fake compliment, put their hands on the table, their finger tapping on the table just to make their point. And even if you don't engage with them, they will make sure when they do this that the person they are a groupie of will see it and witness it. So you look like the bad person and they're just the victim. That what to me is like triggering, because it's like, no, this is not the reality here. It's the reverse. It's when you feel you're being harassed and played because somebody wants to be the poor me and wants the attention of that individual. So you have to think about where you want to stand in your life with that. And I said, in some cases for work, maybe it's a sign for you to get out of where you are and get another position somewhere else where even if you like the group, but the will is being poisoned by one person can really do a number on you. I remember, and that was way a long time ago actually, it was, and I noticed that actually that person was doing this every single time. So people have come the time or around or a month before review time. It doesn't matter if it's a 6 months review or a year review. You have individuals who's going to cause something towards you. So your manager will remember that instead than the entire 6 months or a year, which to me is ridiculous. One incident should not define your yearly review, especially when they cause it. And I had somebody who was very good at that. I noticed that the first time around, and I'm like, I'm staying out of it. And she tried a few times to create troubles. So at the time of review, people will remember, oh, this is fresh in my memory. It's not about your performance itself. It's about one incident with one individual who played a victim. And she used to do that to everybody around, just to get the best review, to be the best team lead. It was insane. And I will always remember that when I saw her doing it the first time, I was like, what the heck is going on here? Then I saw it the second time around. I'm like, really? She's going to pull another one and try to do this again. Holy crap. So out of everything, I would say we have what we've got, but you have to open your eyes and realize that, things can change very quickly, but you need to look at the pattern. Do not be like the ostrich, put your head down and just say, oh my God. Observe people. When you start to observe people's patterns and behavior, this is how you figured out things. Even if they play on murky waters, and you see some of the patterns, because I didn't realize that person was a groupie. I realized from day one she was controlling, trying to undermine me, making comments that were like, holy crap, what in the world? Do you really think I am that stupid? Do you really think I'm that ignorant of what I'm supposed to do? But it's to just seeing, observing it, playing the peacemaker to push that person very kindly and just said, okay, I know what to do, so I don't need your help here. I need you to stop to text me. I need you to do that. And then when you see the bigger pictures months down the road, that what caused all of this is where you start to realize, like, meltdown, because, oh my God, she wanted to do something with this individual, but the individual did not care. He wanted me to do something else, and it's like, oh boy, what are we facing today? This is when you finally put the pieces together and said, oh boy, I have a groupie here, so what do? Well, I'm going to take my little thing, I'm going to get off that ride because I don't want to be on that ride, and I'm going to let her go with her own madness. This will never stop. A groupie is a groupie, no matter what. So it's better to get off the ride and avoiding more headache and stress because, as I said, those are the most dangerous people. They will do anything because they feel you as a threat. So look what you got and you're working with. You got great people. You got people who are behaving a very weird way, running around circles all of the time around specific people. Make your choice wisely, but open your eyes because those are great lessons that people don't realize and they end up fired. They end up having bad reviews. They end up always in hot water and said, why is that person always after me? Well, look at the pattern. And when you realize that person is a groupie, then this is where you can disengage and said, okay, I'm not going to stick around. Time for me to go because I do not want that monkey in circus. You want my job? You want to be here working for that person? Oh, that's fine. You can be the groupie of the year. You can take my job. I don't care. I'm not that interested. I'd rather walk away and do something else where I'm happier than have to deal with somebody I have to watch my back because you never know how their behaviors are. You will never know. And I'm telling you, I've seen people acting so weird. It's like, holy crap, I need my phone. I need to record them to see how nuts they are. Seriously, when they are in that state of mind. So this was our podcast for today. I know, very interesting, isn't it? But I needed to go back and do a little touch up on this one because that to me is very scary things. But when you observe this and you don't know why people are quote unquote attacking you or doing things and they are playing the victim but they are behind it and try to pull the rug under your feet, then this is time for you to observe what that person is, why she's doing it or he's doing it, and observe who they are in communication with. And if they are sitting with your boss at all time in their offices or they're always around yakking to them, then observe what's going on and you will discover very quickly who's a groupie and who's not. So, all my love, guys, and I will talk to you later. Bye now.
Where do we go from here?
Emma's Universe Podcast.
Where do we go from here? Where do we go from here? Where do we go from here?
Emma's Universe Podcast.